Hello, you are watching NME.com. We are here with Mike Shinoda at Reading Festival, who's about to play a show on the main stage. How are you doing, Mike?
I'm doing well, thank you.
Excellent. Is this the first time you've been here since 2003, or have you popped in since?
I thought that I had been here since then, but the internet didn't have record of it, so.
What does Reading Festival mean to you?
Well, I mean, we always think of I always think of the first time we came to Europe, and we were playing these little club shows back in it was probably like 2001, and the fans kept asking, Mike Chester, will you be playing Reading in Leeds? And we were like, we don't have a song called Reading in Leeds. Like, what is that? And then finally, within 24, 48 hours, somebody informed us that it was this big festival. And, we don't think of festivals to us were a one-day affair. We didn't have weekend-long festivals in the States at the time, so it was an experience for sure.
Yeah, and I mean, within 2 years of that, headlining the thing. So
yeah. I mean,
any memories of 2003?
I mean, back then, my approach for a show is very much rooted in. It came from playing really rowdy club shows, so it was just super aggressive and screaming the whole time and carrying on. So much different now, but with my solo set, I actually do. I try to approach it like what would I want to hear if I was the one in the crowd, and I try and play different things. I play Linkin Park stuff, Fort Minor stuff, and of course the new solo stuff.
And what can we expect from the show? I mean, is it just you solo, full band?
It used to be. For the first couple months after I released the record, I did shows completely by myself, and it was a really stripped down, personal kind of thing. And there were a couple reasons that I did that. It was, number one, because the music is so personal, and number two, because I wanted to see what I needed on stage and just build it from nothing up, as opposed to just assuming, well, I should do it this way and putting a bunch of people on stage or whatever. And as it turns out, I did a bunch of shows that way, and this I just finished 2 weeks in Asia with a drummer and kind of multi-instrumentalist, and that feels great to me. I'm really happy with how the presentation. I'm happy with the presentation right now.
I mean, is it kind of odd, obviously, to be out on the road without the band?
It can be. I mean, at this point, I'm really we're in a nice rhythm and it feels good. I've been, and I keep in touch with the guys. We've been kind of texting and emailing back and forth. No plans, but just there. In fact, that thing I said about the fans saying, "Will you be playing Reading in Leeds?" Johan texted me last night, or actually I got it this morning. I woke up and looked at my phone, and he had texted, "Will you be playing Reading in Leeds?"
Amazing. Was it kind of tough to step up?
It was. There are a lot of elements of putting out the music, getting on stage, doing certain songs. Some things are harder than others. And I always make at least one moment during the set to kind of pay tribute to Chester and to give the fans who, were so touched by our songs with him, that moment of celebration, because I never want my show to be like a sad thing at all, but it feels totally appropriate and healthy to have that moment. And I think the fans really, some fans really need that. Yeah,
because it's fascinating. I mean, it's obviously a transition, maybe a transitional period. We don't really know what's going to happen in the future. But with the EP being something of a tribute, and is this kind of something you need to get out of your system? Is this something of a tribute to Chester?
Well, so the album Post Traumatic it's 16 songs, and I did basically. They're kind of arranged in chronological order. So I did, the first batch of them was, really in the aftermath within the first couple months. And they're those are the ones I released as an EP. Yeah. And those are the darkest ones, looking backwards and very confused. And as the album goes on, you find that it starts to look towards the future, become more hopeful, and a couple songs more playful. And it so yeah, I think for some fans, there is still like a little bit of apprehension about listening to it and getting into it because it deals with a really heavy subject.
Yeah.
From my, it's a diary, it's an autobiography in a sense. But for those fans, I mean, if anything, I think from track 9 through 16, it really turns a corner and starts looking forward, and that's consistent with how things have been in life. Like, after I put out the album and started playing some shows and seeing the fans in person, like I said before, the tone is much more celebratory, and this is not the hand that any of us would have wanted to be dealt, but if this is what I'm dealing with, then I'm going to make the most of it and try. And I love to play music, I love to write music, so I'm just going to I'm of course going to pursue that.
And how have the fans been taking to it?
Great. Yeah, I've been the responses on, like, especially at the shows, I think. For some people, it was there's an element of they needing closure, and other people, they just love the band, and maybe they didn't get to see the band with Chester, and other people saw us. I just got a fan mail, like a letter from somebody at the meet and greet yesterday, and they had listed every show. They've been to 20 Linkin Park shows. So both sides, all over the spectrum, different people coming in different ways, and generally it is, a celebratory thing. And there are definitely songs that have nothing to do with any of that as well. Like, a few Fort Minor songs. Like I played Kenji yesterday, which is about Japanese internment in the U.S. in the World War II. It's like has nothing to do with any of that. So it's, there's a variety of subjects and emotions kind of going on.
And I guess sort of $1 million question, and maybe you don't even know, but where's future plans? I mean, what could happen next? What will happen? Yeah,
it's really just a journey for me. Like, I'm enjoying, rather than making goals like that, I'm enjoying where it goes and keeping my eyes open to the different things that can be out there and are possible. So with that said, I might be releasing more solo music. I might, get together with the guys in Linkin Park. I might go write or produce for some other bands, play more shows, like do art shows. Like, I don't know. I love to do all those things, and I'm just kind of taking it as it goes.
Okay. Fantastic, Mike. Thanks very much indeed for your time.
Thank you.
And stay tuned to NME.com for more interviews and videos.